Mr. Grayson from Florida.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you very much, Secretary Clinton, for your contributions to securing America's place in the world for the past 4 years and for your contributions toward world peace. The first question I'd like to ask you has to do with the Accountability Review Board's report. The report does identify specifically people who were found to have engaged in the department in systematic failures and deficiencies. I want to be clear about this. You were not one of those people. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Now, it was identified earlier that a report dating from the 1990s had said that the Secretary should take a personal and active role in security. Have you done that during your 4 years at the State Department?
I have been very attuned to the environment in which threats are occurring, the intelligence that is available, certainly not the specific requests and decision-making which rests with the security professionals.
All right. Regarding the security professionals, is there anybody now in existence in the department who is responsible for reviewing the itineraries of ambassadors in advance in order to determine whether there is an undue threat to their safety?
The general answer to that is no. Ambassadors are given what's called Chief of Mission Authority. Ambassadors, especially those who we ask to go to dangerous posts, are pretty independent folks. Some of them might say, well, what do you think about this or that? But most of them make their own decisions. Chris Stevens did not ask anyone for permission to go to Benghazi. I don't think it would have crossed his mind. Robert Ford, who served as our ambassador to Syria, went out on numerous occasions to talk to the opposition before we pulled him out of Damascus. We had, very brave ambassadors like Ryan Crocker, one of our very best, who it would be very difficult to say, Ryan, you can't go do this, even though you've decided you should do it. But what we're trying to do is to create a more ongoing discussion between our ambassadors, our bureaus back in the State Department who are regional experts, and our security people, so that at the very least no ambassador is taking an unnecessary risk, however that is defined.
Well, with regard to Ambassador Stevens, certainly it was brave of him to go to Benghazi on the days that he did. I have to ask you honestly, though, was there anything in his itinerary on the 10th or the 11th that actually specifically required his personal presence?
Well, he certainly thought so, Congressman, and he did, of course, discuss this with his own security people. Remember, we do have regional security officers in these posts. They are the ones that an ambassador will turn to. He believed that it was important for him to go to Benghazi. There were a number of meetings that he was holding and some public events that he had on his schedule. And, he was someone who really believed strongly he had to get out there. And I think, as the Arab has pointed out, he was given great deference by the rest of the government.
Do you have any concept of the number of American troops it might have taken to actually create a totally secure environment for him in Benghazi on September 10th and 11th?
No, the number of diplomatic security personnel requested in the cables was 5. There were 5 there that night with him, plus there was a mutual understanding with the annex that had a much more heavily armed presence because of the work that they were doing in the region. It is very difficult to, in retrospect, really anticipate what might have been. One of the RSOs who had served in Libya said the kind of attack that the compound suffered had not been anticipated. We had gotten used to, preparing for car bombs and suicide bombers and things like that, but this was of a different nature. And we even saw that at the annex, which was much more heavily fortified, had much more heavy military equipment, we lost 2 of our best and had one of our diplomatic security officers badly injured. He's still at Walter Reed. So even which had more assets in the face of the attack was suffering losses that night.
Thank you very